bodies of men, women, and children found locked down as sheep. When was the last time that frayed and faded drapes were open? I've never gotten used to that god-awful floor pattern 5 decades ago. We'll be underwater longer next time. Wait for that unmistakable blue hue. Wait for that unmistakable blue hue. Wait for that unmistakable blue hue. No, the well of sacrifice isn't in Singapore. It's further inland and on higher ground. Thus spoke the wolfman with the three-legged wolverine between sequences. So it's recorded according to a long-forgotten Masonic law. What's neither seen nor heard, it follows, may not have the distinction of occurrence. That's not as cogent, really, as the marvel of the mundane. Feel free to applaud or throw apples if you feel so inclined. Don't look for a direct route between Dan and Dora, even to this day. You would have to bring that up again in light of the current circumstances. There's an art to revealing your tactics while concealing your strategy. Make note of that and keep it in your head. Seen on the Soul Train when originally aired. Thanks for not elongating the vowel like someone you aren't. Do you prefer part to patrasi during a period such as this? Chow Dai has been withdrawn from consideration for reasons of complication. In 3 seconds, Creatic Memories begins in earnest, which is certainly a pose. The ink doesn't dry that quickly with this high humidity, you know. There's now an abbreviated version available as an import, but it's difficult to obtain. You really should hear the B-side, which sounds similar to Railroad Gamelan. Note the ants climbing the wall on their single-minded quest. The scoundrel of 1589, you imagine, had no notion of creating a scoundrel. History is rewritten every time it's written, even before the countless revisions perhaps you've read. You cut your southeastern Wales. If you had to do it over, you would have chosen a fishing on your favorite afternoon. Why is that you, who, if you are who you say you are, cannot demonstrate that you are you? You haven't had much success setting the demon straight, now have you? There's only cabbage left for supper and it's far from fresh. What would it take to get horse flesh to supplement the meal? Cut the legs off the table halfway and sit on the floor with your legs crossed. Break a bowl and count the pieces. The number will vary with each breakage, nearly every time. Yes, just as every performance of Rothko Chapel varies with the same conductor and orchestra. Stop me if you've heard this one before, as you were dragged across the floor. You can still remember, like it was yesterday, when and where you first heard physical graffiti. The Griffin's as motionless as a lawn ornament and has been that way for several days. The television wasn't equipped for the digital conversion, consequently it gets more viewing. What do you think Bartok would make of a spiel, if you care to speculate like that? The water of the Black Sea tastes like that of the Red Sea and the Yellow Sea, in case you were wondering. It must have taken you hours to so skillfully outline all the veins on your left arm, though it helps your right hand. The observable universe, vast as it is, isn't necessarily the entire universe. Next you're going to tell me there's neither a beginning nor ending, which is counterintuitive. The problem isn't with the tool, rather the tool maker, who's prone to make inevitable errors. Let the chips fall where they may. It's going to happen anyway, one way or another. Turn up that live recording of Bitches Brew, which got some better. That jester became the de facto leader, then proceeded to get drunk and disorderly. 20,000 people were said to have been impaled. However, this can't be verified authoritatively. During the day, the sunlight that seeps through the drapes is reddish, like ether. But an interesting collaboration would have been between No, like in the left-hand pocket of the camel hair jacket, divide the number of pieces of the trumpet by 3. Subtract 5, multiply by 2, and add 14. So you say you want a revelation, that'll be the 999. Only a chance they will walk in the wildfire and give contradictory accounts. What was that series of numbers again, beginning with 1 and ending in 20? You ever wonder why the city was named New Philadelphia? It comes down to it, you can't be accused of the heinous act of hypocrisy. It doesn't make much sense unless you really think about it. Say the exile is self-imposed. Imagine the walls were chartreuse in color and at an 80-degree angle for as long as you like. After all these years, you still remain partial to all along the watchtower by hindrance. Just as one can be split into two, likewise, two can merge into one when the conditions are favorable. It's beneficial to know that which precedes in cases such as this. Rape me, my friend. Rape me again and disregard the clamor of the clamorers. At last count, there were 7 slabs, 7 sabers, and 7 starlets draped in a single satin sheet. Can you repeat that again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again? Yes, if you wish, but not during the playing of Missa Brevis for 12 voices. If that doesn't move you in inexplicable ways, then you're definitely too far gone. If you ask me, you might want to treat that open wound with a mustard dressing. Lo, Heroes and Roger. That was a masterful trilogy of the 70s. There is no question whatsoever that the composer of the USA Pain Olympics isn't a remodernist. The situation is now this. The door is locked, there's no key, and the only way out is through the windows. It's said that never the twain shall meet, except as it has with your droll alchemy. 20,000 days would have made for an apt conclusion, but no one would have noticed. The previously mentioned locked door has considerable scratches, a small mongrel desperately gnawed out. You found out what respect meant to you, then lost it and forgot it by and by. It's no longer abstruse territory if you travel through it enough times. You might as well throw your money on the floor. It will be of no further practical use. Beethoven contemplated many operas, but completed only one, which is telling when you say. You will have no difficulty hearing the punctuation if you're unable to read it. An omission, whether one or many, shouldn't be disregarded or discounted. And now for a moment of silence, for no particular reason and no particular duration. The windows, one facing north and the other west, provide no view of attractions or distractions. She don't lie, she don't lie, she don't lie. Isn't grammatically correct, but Clapton's interest was in the point. The blood circulates regardless of the point at which it's alloyed, with one definitive exception. What were you going to say about Billie Holiday before the looping commenced? Hooker with the Penis, as far as you know, hasn't been covered by the Cronus String Quartet. This room, a bedroom, such as it is, could accommodate more than its current occupancy. The posted no trespassing sign on the front fence is no deterrent to a band of thieves. Oh, home on the range where the deer and the antelope no longer play. With a crossbow in your hands, you couldn't hit a grazing bovine at 50 paces if your life depended on it. There are no neighbors near here, just garrulous dreamers in a quag. Your numerous broods have turned the color of pumpkin pie and moose. You don't have a leg to stand on, which is most of the time. Then rock and roll unpredictable. You gotta try listening to the magic flute backwards for a change. Was it you that said a while back that Muddy Waters doesn't know how to swim? Not a single song from Music for Airports was ever actually used in an airport. There's a large bookcase here filled with a variety of novelty items, but not a single tone. You have been and always will be as great a mystery as myself. The Stalin organ is largely unknown. You consider it a post-rock masterpiece. After nearly 5 decades, you still don't know which one is pink, by the way. It would be a gross exaggeration to claim your last performance was stellar, as critics speak. How hungry do you have to get before you resort to eating and shooting others? The spiders appeared on the scene, maybe quick enough to terminate his brief life. The gospel albums Elvis made early in his career by far his most heartfelt. Go to the moon, but don't spill the spoon, whatever it takes. The sound of knocking is heard at the bedroom door, which is unexpected given you're the only one there. It's hard to imagine Sid Vicious got permission, and probably didn't, to use Sinatra's My Way. There are a million applications available, and the number increases daily, but you have not one. 2 + 2 = 5, you hear in your head like a radio transmission from a decade ago. If you ever saw Mudhead perform, he put on a scandalous show. You're among very few. Neither a thou nor a thy has been heard for what seems like ages. It would require dismantling, but the old upright vacuum cleaner could be a means to an end. You noticed it was made in this country. Live in Ohio, to be precise, in 1969. Now, as in the past, you can't get enough of blood, sugar, sex, and love. At what point the confluence occurred is unclear, though you waited for it for a very long time. Take No Prisoners was recorded in Berlin prior to the release of the album Berlin. You've been without a chamber pot and a chambermaid before, so do as you did before. The grease-smeared face on the cover of Joe's Garage wasn't too literal as far as you're concerned. If you should need a clue about that series of numbers, let me know. That might not be needed as it's been deduced. It entails geometric circularity. Did you know, or care to know, that Ligeti was born in all places, Transylvania? No, but that brings to mind, for obvious reasons, Bela Lugosi's death. This rather small room has 8 electrical outlets, not a standard ratio, and only one works. You've lost track of all this collaboration Sparkleworks has done, but then who's counting? That a device can be described as smart is one thing. The capacity to be clever is altogether different. You've heard neither the voice of passers-by nor the sound of automobiles passing down the gravel road. Is it possible you've listened to March of the Fuckheads over 100 times? What you didn't think possible is that you wouldn't want to hear it again. The wind is gusting and the branch of the tree is scraping in the window, rather like fingernails. Sean found time to make a few piano compositions. I'm not playing the game of sister. It said that his wife, not Honeymoon, with the pieces. In this room there's an art, there's an illustration. One figure is suspended upon another dances. You've been here 10 days. If you hear another 10, you have to relinquish the crown. The air mattress on which you sometimes sleep as a slow leak was made in the people's privilege. In 100 years, Ferrari is probably not built. In 10 years, if anything by white sand, far too long. Bridal, saddle, riding gear brought in from the blood. All seems fortuitous. You were struck by the myriad stars that could be seen in the night of Dead Sea, and light in the city. It was about some double hours to aspire to the sun's summit, and splendidly nearly achieved. You knew the rest, accepted the rest, embraced the rest that culminated in such incomprehension. Had Duke Ellington and Count Basie been British subjects, they would have had the honor of being knighted. The conjecture has ended about who did the vocals for 1,000 Homo DJs cover Super. Make that knot tighter. There's little room for error with this particular configuration. Do you think you could recognize a heretofore unheard composition by Scooby-Doo now? By the string arrangements? It's like asking, could you recognize an unfamiliar rock by its colors, such as gray? If it's going to be country music for a change, make it Lyle Lovett or Katie Lang. You chose this bedroom rather than one of the others because it has 100 metronomes. It's gotten to the point, finally, you don't recognize yourself. In the mirror, it's a sense of deja vu. Even your voice, for that matter, has become unfamiliar to you. The music of Selchie, after his so-called nervous breakdown, became wondrously mystical and transcendental. A snake, black in color and sizable, is curled up in the corner, eyeing you. What do you suppose this snake thinks about as I'm feeding daily, breeding on fear? The odds are it's not about one